Ah, Valentine's Day. The day to spend time with your loved ones. If, of course, your loved one is a 3D girl. As for me, in my 23 years of living, I've never been in a relationship, so I've diverted my love to the next best thing, 2D anime waifus. Waifu is a term for when a weeb like myself claims an anime character, specifically a girl, as a quote-unquote wife, so to speak. Whether you like women, men, or other, the waifu rests within all weebs. I also happen to have one, and I'm going to discuss her today. But before we go into it, let's talk about waifus in general. The word waifu was first used in the show Azumanga Daioh.
誰
My waifu.
It didn't grow in popularity until 2007 on some internet forums, but it was always there. The word waifu comes from the English word wife. In Japanese, if a word ends in a consonant, they usually put a vowel after it. Wife becomes waifu, and husband becomes husbando. It's become so commonplace now that you usually see so many people address anime girls or boys as waifus or husbandos. Now that the history is out of the way, let's talk about how most waifus are trash. This is common discourse when talking about waifus. A common phrase is your waifu is shit. There are also funny cosplays of people dressing up as plastic bags and pasting popular characters on it, insinuating that they are trash, and the girls on the bag are instead trash bag. Pretty creative cosplay if you ask me. Anyway, let's start with some popular waifus. The first one on this chopping block is 02. This is the only waifu where I feel like her love isn't warranted. I didn't really like 02 that much. I think people liked her a lot because she had that domination type feel to her when we first met her. She's also quite aggressive in her approach to romance to her main character in the beginning, but she mellows out more. Surprisingly, people don't like her that much after her change. I think people self-inserted themselves as the main character getting pushed around by her. Her love was so strong, people sent death threats when Ichigo tried to stop 02 from coming in contact with the main character. It was that bad. For this reason, 02 gets the stamp of absolute trash, overrated by all. The next one I'd like to talk about is Rem. This one actually isn't that bad, but it's just a basic waifu. She literally will drop anything to be with Subaru. Her dedication to continuously loving Subaru is probably why so many people love her. If they had someone like that in real life, they would definitely be pretty happy. I like her too, but I like Ram or even Beatrice better. Ram is so funny, she makes fun of Subaru for being so weird, and she generally has a lot of funny taunts towards Subaru. Beatrice is also funny too, little lolly that rages. Too funny. Next, I want to talk about the Konosuba girls, because they are all waifu material to people. What's funny is that this show is supposed to be a parody of the isekai genre, and the characters are basically deconstructions of popular waifu types. For example, Megumin is like the little sister type, but she's more violent than cute. Funny they become waifus themselves. I personally like Darkness the best, but the most popular one is Megumin by a far margin. Another basic waifu, but she is funny. Super Chunibyo, which is when characters believe they are special or have special abilities, but in reality, do not. She also invests all of her magic into really good explosion magic, but she can only use it once per day. Too funny. I also wouldn't pick her as a waifu because... Aqua I think is the worst one. She's just full of herself and jokes around a lot. Kazuma makes fun of her for being so useless, and to be honest, she only has healing magic. Can be helpful, but is never helpful. Honestly, I just like Darkness because of her whole masochism thing. Something horrible is proposed to the group like torture or something bad, and she only thinks about how great it would be. It kills me every time. That's why she's my favorite. Lastly, let's mention a new waifu, Maureen from Dress Up Darling. Maybe she is waifu bait like everyone's been saying, but there's actually so much to like about her. I really like the fact that she's not what she seems. I thought she was going to be this rude popular girl, like so many popular characters in fiction, but she definitely subverts expectations. She likes anime, she isn't afraid to talk about her likes and dislikes, and is overall a very kind person. The fact that she fits so well for Gojo is one of the reasons why people think it's waifu bait, besides the obvious. I just think the way she listens to Gojo, accepts his passion, and supports him when things go wrong is enough to make her a certified S-tier waifu. Before I start this next part, I'm just gonna let you know that there are spoilers inbound for Persona 4. You've been warned. Enough of these basic waifus. Let me introduce you to the queen.
You so fucking precious when you smile. Hit it from the back and drive you wild.
If you don't know this waifu, which, let's be real here, not many have, her name is Naoto Shirogane, and yes, I do mean her. If you've never played Persona 4 before, or have never gotten very far in it, Naoto's main thing is that she hides the fact that she's a female until you get to her dungeon. If you're playing the game in English, you might have already guessed that she's a girl since her voice leans more towards a higher feminine voice. If you watch the anime, however, or play the game in Japanese, the voice actress doesn't sound anything like a girl. It's only until after the reveal that Naoto changes her voice to become more feminine sounding. Naoto's whole thing is that in her household, every male Shirogane becomes a detective. With her being born a woman, she isn't really looked highly upon, so she pretends to be a male detective. In her dungeon, she talks about how much she wishes she was born a male, so she wouldn't have to hide. Luckily, like most party members you gain in that game, she learns to accept her true self and become more womanly. She's a great character story-wise, personality-wise, and design-wise. Her main personality is cool and confident. She's a detective, so her deduction skills are top-notch, but when it comes to other things like being a woman, or even something like not being able to handle ghost stories, she's too cute. Her design is really great too. I like the blue color scheme, and the various outfits she wears look very cool, while also looking very detective-y. Shigenori Soejima is a GOAT character designer, and his art is something spectacular to look at. Naoto is just an all-around GOAT. She also has short hair, and pixie bob haircuts on anime girls and just women in general. Sheesh! There are many other waifus that are great as well, but you know what they say, one waifu for lifeu. Naoto happens to be mine. With the short hair, shyness, cuteness, and the great backstory, she's the only one for me. Maybe you have your own waifu, husbando, or other. If not, then that's understandable. You're not a filthy degenerate like me. Let me know down below which characters you would wife. If you don't have one, then just comment down below about your favorite characters in anime. Enjoy this day of loving, and I'll go back to my waifu, Naoto Shirogane.